What's up, everybody? So today we are shooting the Meguiar's Portrait of an Icon 90s edition, and we are here at Genesis Automotive. I'm here with Jason, who is the owner of Genesis.
What's up, man?
Bro, thank you for allowing us to shoot here, man. And I gotta tell you, we're just here last week, and Jason was like, come Monday, I'll have the spot ready for you. And he went through and through to make sure that everything looked really beautiful today. We're super excited to show you guys what I envisioned. Also, the space that Jason put up with the vintage Honda sign is really, actually that's throwing me for a loop because it's just, it's so beautiful. I love it. But there's a lot going on here. And so Jason, if you can, just tell everybody what you guys do here.
We are just a day-to-day automotive repair shop. We do general mechanics. Even though we have a lot of NSXs here and it looks like we do high-end car, we just do everyday like pilots and Odysseys and just regular maintenance here as well.
So if you guys, I mean, they're right across the street from Honda Pasadena, but if you guys have a Honda and you need maintenance, come check out Jason at Genesis.
Yeah, that's
Can't
it.
go wrong. So
oil changes, everything.
Yeah,
just
right
regular.
on. But let's go see all the stuff that Jason's been hoarding over here inside. So let's go, guys. Don't work. So I'm doing remote shutter, and I'm triggering the camera up above. It can't be up there because the stairs are moving too much, so I'm gonna knock it out with the iPhone.
Nice.
So right now we're strobing. So we light painted a bit, now we're strobing a bit. I'm just making sure that we have everything that we need. I need to get a little more.
Was that me? You didn't tell me about that.
No, I'm getting to get the phone.
This is dramatic. The last shot.
All right, so I got my boys here. Junior doesn't like being on camera, but you know we're gonna get him on camera though. Hey, you know what? We got to get all the youngsters out here with Rex. We got to give them a history lesson on all the stuff out here. So if you guys can, maybe you guys can walk with Calvin and show them some of these parts that you guys think or you guys remember from the 90s. What do you say? What do you say?
I remember from the 90s?
Yeah, let's like go through here. Maybe some of the wheels. You got some stuff up here. Maybe you see something that maybe you might have had, or that's something that's dope for you.
All right. Back in the 90s?
Back in the 90s, these are new. These R&Rs are a little bit too new for my car. Right? Or when did these come out?
Yeah, these are all 90s.
So for us, we like the 80s stuff. MR5s, the CF48s.
I don't know. I don't even know what to say because basically back in the 90s, all we wanted was Mugen spec parts. Now, whether it become wheels, whether it became whatever Mugen had, we wanted. Nevertheless, a lot of the 90s stuff started from the Honda scene. And so this is a reflection of what the 90s, late 80s and 90s represented was those wheels right there. Back here, this reminds me back in the street races when all the Zs, we were racing the street 2.6 off a Z. But then the epitome of what the 90s were all about that we couldn't afford, at least at my time, was this car. And it's still relevant until today and will be relevant in the next 20 and 30 years. Why? Because it's done right with all the Mugen parts, and it's going to be always timeless. And the person who actually modified this is legend. He is legend. That is what the true 90s car was all about growing up. We all wanted this car. We didn't want Porsches back then. We didn't want any European cars. That's what we wanted. And here's a reflection of all the interior pieces that we wanted back then that was very popular.
Right here, this Recaro seat.
This Recaro seat was real true late 80s, 90s seat.
And you had to have that fishnet headrest.
That was, I believe this is an LS seat.
It does look like it.
Sooner or later it caught on and everyone wanted to transition from Recaro to this seat, the bridge seat.
And why is that? Because they're Japan made, right?
Your Recaro is a European made seat. And here you go is the collection of all the wheels. All 15s with the exception of the second to the white one, which is a 14 by 6 wheel. Come here, Calvin. And although this is a race car, this car right here, if you look at that date, that's 90s right here. This is how we raced back then. Front wheel drive.
Sure.
There it is.
You want me to back it?
Import drag racing at its finest. And it's still relevant today's time. But it's getting a makeover soon, so it's even going to get even better. But the evolution of what the 90s went from import, just streets racing into drag racing. This is how it transitioned to. And what everyone's wanting now these days are all these cars. And there you go. That's the 90s.
My wheel. I'm gonna take home today. All right, so that's the conclusion of today's shoot. Big shout out to Jason for allowing us to shoot in here. RJ representing Meguiar's, of course. All the staff here at Genesis, you guys totally killed it. Thank you guys for lending your time and energy. And I'm super stoked on this shoot. You know, it's the 90s.
The 90s.
Let's pray that all things come true. But I'm super excited. Hector came in super dope with the wheels and everything. I'm hoping that it turned out. So but that's it. And hopefully we'll do some edits and it turns out well. So thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time. Woo! Thank you everyone for following along and being a part of this journey. This is the final image that I created. I'm very proud of this image. There's so much going on, a lot of heritage to the Honda scene. But for a lot of us growing up, the NSX was the king within the JDM scene, and so I'm very proud to be a part of that, being an owner myself. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Chad, who helped organize this shoot with getting his car involved and getting Jason involved. And then also my boy Rex, who brought out a CRX along with Junior. And then also meeting Hector, who brought out his JDM CRX and also being very helpful on the day of the shoot. So I want to talk about a few things on this shoot that made it a little bit challenging, but also rewarding at the same time. One of the things that you guys can see right off the bat, that the image is very amberous. That's because our theme revolved around the 90s gold class Meguiar's product, and so just like the previous project, I wanted to have an image that represented the actual product. And so balancing all of this light to give a amber tone was a bit challenging, but at the very end of it, I'm very proud of what we put out. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this photo, lots of 90s gems in here that really make it interesting. So if you guys take a closer look at it, I know it's hard to see on the iPhone, but with the larger image scope, you can see a lot of the really interesting components of this image. Also, it was really tough to have an image that was very amber without any other contrasting tones. So an element that really elevated the image, I feel like, is this bug zapper that was in the corner. Those blues really added a contrast point that really elevated the image, I think, and brought out a different vibrance that otherwise wouldn't have been seen. In the future, I may end up doing a re-edit to do something a little bit more neutral and balanced, but as of right now, this is the final image that I have created for the 90s, and I want to thank Meguiar's for allowing me to be a part of their program this year, and for the month of June, knocking out the 90s portrait of an icon. So thank you guys. I'm very excited to move on to the 2000s, and so I'll see you guys next month. Take care.